Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. Welcome to Voice Out, cakap je. How are you?
I'm good. I'm ready to go and a bit nervous lah malam ni. Today our guest is a bit special lah.
Very special, and I can see that you are fully attired. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So today, as per normal, definitely we have a special guest with a special story, and this special guest has a very unique hobby. Yeah. So maybe we should see this VT and see what is so special about this special guest hobby.
Yes. But before we play the video, guys out there, like, tag, and share this show. Let's everybody listen and everybody see. And you got any question, prepare your question. PM at the message there, and we'll ask
We will read
your
all
question.
the messages. Yes.
Yes. Okay, let's start the video. Assalamualaikum, Bro JoFe.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.
Okay,
So
guys.
let's welcome our brother, brother Khairi Johari, who is also known as Pak JoFe.
Yes, and you look at the trailer we just shown. He's a super busy man. He's been in many platforms. Radio Warna, museum, and also in Channel Asia. So we are very proud to have you on board. Thank you very much for your time, Pak JoFe.
I think before that, sebagai permulaan ya, saya berbahasa dalam bahasa ibunda kita.
Silakan.
Ya. Saya ingin mengucapkan setinggi-tinggi terima kasih dan perhargaan pada Bro JoFe dan Kak Zarina ya, untuk mengundang saya. Bro Panji, Bro JoFe, nama sendiri tersebut, tersasul. Ini sebabnya pasal marilah saya memulakan dengan serangkap pantun ya. Dan juga saya ini tujuannya untuk anda berdua ya. Sirih berlipat, sirih berpinang, sirih dari Pulau Mutiara. Senyum manis mengundang datang, awal bismillah pembuka bicara. Cewa.
Cewa. Alamak. Awak tak bilang saya tak sedia.
Ini surprise.
Beli cikgu. Cikgu Zarina Zahidin, beli cikgu.
Nantilah kena fikir dulu. Tak apa, sebelum tu saya nak tanyalah.
Boleh silakan.
Sedikit, ya, latar belakang
Cik
Khairi
we ask him.
Sebab,
background in what sense?
Because from what I know that from my understanding that you're an IT consultant, solopreneur, forecaster, YouTuber, ya, and
ini kalau ada tu ada kalau checkbox ting.
Itulah. Dan yang most interestingly menarik sekali ialah you have a unique hobby that of course you will share with us, which is being a Keris collector. So as we all know, a Keris is a Malay or Indonesian dagger or weapon. So the thing is that in this modern world, why would a modern man like you be very keen and so interested to be a Keris collector? So that is the thing that, kind of made me wonder. Because I can see that you're a young man. I expect a Keris collector, old man, maybe in his 60s, 70s, but you are such a young person. So I believe that this hobby would have started long time ago, right?
Yes, definitely, correct. Actually, I got my first Keris back in 1997. But prior to that, growing up, you grew up with watching all the P. Ramlee movies, Mahmud Jun, Ahmad Nordin, all the classic Malay films. And somehow when they showcase, the old pahlawan, the way they dressed up, and then with that Keris, and whenever they have a duel, they find very interesting. And of course, on top of that, because I used to ask, my father, kita ni tak ada Keris pusaka ke? We don't have a heirloom Keris ke? He said, ada actually. Then he started to explain that our lineage is actually from this and this and this. Yeah, okay. So then I say, what happened then? Oh, because of World War II, we had to abandon our homeland and end up, all is lost. When we come back, rumah tu pun dah tinggal sebatang aja lah. Jadi barang semua dah kena, rampas. Yeah, so that became.
Nanti just wonder, where was that? Is it di Singapore atau negeri lain?
Okay, my family lineage, we are from Kedah. Kita memang dari keturunan Melayu lah, pure Malay.
Melayu
kalau dah Harry Potter ni dah jadi pure blood ni. Because my family lineage, we fought against major conflicts, like example during the Kedah occupation by Siamese forces. That was the I would say the epitome of our history and how we abandoned our official formal title that was assigned by the Sultan then, because out of fear of persecution. Because when the Siamese knew that our lineage were the one who opposed them, they came up with this edict, this requirement to wipe out to every last man and child, to wipe out the descendant. So end up people, my family in line, we went into hiding. I mean, it was mostly the old people and the women folk, and those the young child, they were brought away. And the men actually, if you based on the story that was retold to me, and also based on the historical records in Kedah itself, it correlates. You see, most of those who died went down fighting. We went down fighting. Okay, there's even a story whereby the last stand. This one can be a bit emotional for me because I can almost feel it. It's like husband and wife and child went into battle against Siamese forces who has broke through the barricade with their elephants, and they say rather than they die, as a widow, might as well they die together. So so there were records actually of that. They're side by side. The husband and wife died with the child in hand. Fighting against. So that was the fighting spirit that I believe the difference. For a Malay, for a Malay, yes, I believe that kita ni bersopan, bersantun. But if you cross out us, and when we retaliate, it's going to be to the death. Tidak akan berundur. So that is, I believe, the fighting spirit of the Malays. That is why we were most formidable. Look at Lieutenant Adnan, for example. Against all odds, there's no fighting chance. But why do you keep fighting? And then fast forward, the tragedy of Bukit Kepong. What happened to the last man? You're not going to surrender. It's like it's as if encoded in our DNA that to surrender surrender is an insult to the dignity. You see, so you rather die. So that is something that is one of the motivating factor to understand the psyche of the Malay mind. And then when the interest on the Keris itself, first thing you think when you look especially at the old films and then you look at those Indonesian films, first thing you think, wah, ni Keris ni magic ke? Ada magic ke? It's like, wow. Then you think, ini dah ada cerita kungfu juga ni. Kungfu pun pedang dia pun boleh terbang-terbang, berapi-rapi semua. So, but because it started off with curiosity. You become curious, so end up you start to digging it up. I remember back then, bookstores you can never find books about Keris. Okay, so I ended up my favorite place, or rather my fortress of solitude lah back then was the old National Library at Stamford Road. The younger ones, they will not know. They think that is the now modern building, but prior to that, it was just behind Fort Canning there. And that's where I got to know writers like Mubin Shepherd, this R.O. Winstead, this and a few Walter William Skeet, and so many other colonial writers that who documented about the Keris. And one of the historical figure that I would say that I admire is the late Mubin Shepherd, or rather when upon his death, Tan Sri Mubin Shepherd. He was a British. He was from an Irish actually, but then somehow went into the British system. Become a administrator here in Malaya, and eventually he fell in love with the Malay culture. So much so, ini yang dikata istilah masuk Melayu. Mula-mula dia masuk Melayu, lepas tu dia masuk Islam, and he died as a Muslim. Yeah, and he has one of the largest collection specimen of Keris actually. Until today, actually some I know where they are. Some is actually we have lost track. Where is it? Whether it's in overseas, whether has he been sent back to his family in London? Yeah, but the point is, you see, there is, if a foreigner can really appreciate and fall in love with the material culture and the people itself, there is something special about this race. You see, collectively, yes, actually Nusantara is collectively Malay, but Malay there are various ethnicities. You see, kalau just cakap Malay pure, that's a bit difficult lah. People will get offended. There's a Malay Minangkabau, there's a Malay Sumatra. But there is some unifying factor there that links us all. And apparently the linking factor, we don't put aside language, we put aside writings, but in artifact itself, you look at textiles, you look at wood carving, you look at the Keris. The Keris encompasses everything, carving, metallurgy. There's almost like a common language there. So there is something which until today, because there are debates that going on here and there, because no one can put a final say as to the history, the origins of the Keris. But what we do know is that it links us all. Kita satu serumpun, and with that thought, actually logically, we should see that kita semua bersaudara, regardless lah, like whether you are from Thailand. Thailand also back in the day was actually jajahan tanah Melayu. Until the Siamese, and the Burmese, with the conflict, they started to occupy. Then until today, become still part of Thailand. But their lineage, those people there, they're actually Malay. You look at our Filipino brothers, they are Malay. Kerajaan Sulu. So there is a unifying factor.
Maybe there's something I want to ask you. I mean, since you know so much about Keris, maybe you can share with us what is their unique characters, because as far I'm just a layman, as far as I know, Keris is just a weapon. It's just a weapon. But of course, now in the modern days, I mean, in this context, normally I'll see Keris is being used by pengantin. Yeah, but other than that, selain daripada perhiasan dekat tembok, So, what are the functions of Keris?
Okay, for Keris, it is not wrong to say that it originated. Its main function was primarily as a weapon. Both. Depending on the size and the type, it can be a stabbing. Primarily, it's mostly a stabbing weapon, a thrusting weapon. And if it gets a bit bigger, it's more of a slashing type. But somehow the Keris evolved over time to a point that it has become reached a status that has been elevated to go beyond the functions of just a Keris. As a weapon. So it has become a function of representation of the self. It can represent you.
So is it like true to say that the Keris itself can offer a glimpse into the Malay culture? Is that how you learn throughout your
Sorry, I don't get your question. What do you mean?
Is it true that Keris can offer a glimpse into the Malay culture? Is that how you learn our Malay culture? The journey of your Keris collection?
Okay, if you look at the Keris in depth, and you break it apart, in a Keris, it will tell the story of the people. It will tell the story of the religion. It will tell the story of their tradition. It will tell the story of their beliefs and what they stand for. But ini yang kalau dalam pepatah Melayu yang tersurat dan yang tersirat. Yang tersurat tu is what you can see. But yang tersirat tu, how do you define it? Okay, back in the day, jobs, vocations like pandai besi, tukang yang buat besi ni dengan yang pandai kayu yang atau kalau dalam istilah jauh dia panggil meranggi lah. Meranggi ni yang bahasa tukang buat ukir, buat dia punya tatahan, dia punya decoration, all these are specialized jobs whereby it requires one to have an understanding of nature. You understand metals, then you know, oh ni gabungan gini macam mana. You know, besi tu kalau pasal you have to look at it from a scientific aspect as well. Iron by itself is brittle. How is it back then, 2,000 years ago, people just realized, if I use iron by itself, the blade is brittle. But if once I fold it and put something in between, a different metal, it strengthens the blade. You see? Because if you look at how this Keris blade is made, and how a katana, a Japanese katana is made, and how those Damascus steel is made, the process is actually the same. But only difference is in terms of technology-wise, all these different areas, maybe they are forged where they to make the metal billets. The temperature can reach a higher level. Yeah, that's why it can become more finer, more thinner, more sharper. As compared to those in this region, it reach a certain temperature that is not too high, not too low, but just nice. But that become our own unique heritage, you see, because this style of weapon only in this region. Don't ask me why it doesn't exist in other region. Wallahu alam, we do not know. Probably it may have, but for some reason, maybe because if let's say there's already a predominant style of doing things in that native area, and you see something new, but is still not as efficient as how they are doing it, why would they want to adopt it? I mean, that's the only logical thing that I can think of lah.
It's a masterpiece, masterpiece in field of.
Yeah, because let me add also, because if you look at the Keris itself, right, it is very unique. This might offend some people, but I just have to say it as it is.
Go ahead, sir.
The Keris, the most updated one, yes, we would say this is Islamic. But if you look closely and you understand the philosophy of every single parts and components and design, it actually incorporates Hinduism, Hindu philosophies, Hindu this appeasement to certain Hindu deities, and then it has Buddhist philosophy, and finally to complete it was Islam beliefs. That's why we do away with all the human-like features and whatnot. But actually, it is still there. Even if you look at certain segments of the Keris, certain triangular pattern, that is actually back in the day in the Buddhist or the Hindu scripture, is actually a form of talisman, protective talisman. But then again, if you want to apply to this, that's why I say if you want to be too sensitive, don't collect Keris lah. Sikit, bid'ah, ini tak Islam, ini ada benda syirik. The point is, syirik
tu bila common misconception, Malay associate Keris with an occult.
Okay, occult is also a wide subject lah, a wide subject. But the problem is, it is being peddled by people who actually don't even understand what the occult is. Those who truly understand, they just like nothing much to talk about. You see. Because for a Keris, just go back to the basic logic. If I just leave that Keris down there without touching it, leaving it alone, will it rust? Will it start to get moldy if the environment is So where's the power in that? If you are telling me that this Keris can fly, okay, I want to show me. Bila show tu semua tak boleh pula. Keris ni boleh berjoget-joget. Show lah. Tak boleh pun, because I mean, there is another aspect of psychology to the Keris. People who don't understand, they will quickly associate it with miracles, with some paranormal. But like what my late mentor Arwah Muhammad Din Muhammad advised me, according to him, in this world there is no such thing as paranormal. It's just a state of reality that our human mind has yet to reach a level to understand. So the human mind is very unique, escapism. Tak boleh explain. Miracle. Kalau tak miracle of God, mukjizat lah. Kalau tak mukjizat, ni mukjizat lah ni. Semuanya ni karamat lah, So the human mind become very small when actually the Keris, I would say, I translate it loosely in English lah. It is actually a tool, a pusaka, which is a teaching tool to to teach the wise and mislead the foolish.
Okay.
That is why there is a lot of allegories and whatnot. You take it literally, you will, you take it. But the wise ones will, they read deeper into it. What is it trying to say? Because to the person, the original person who are making it, pada tukang yang buat tu, bila dia dapat satu inspirasi, because before things come into existence, it has to exist somewhere. It has to appear in your heart.
In our head.
No, it comes in our heart first, and then goes to our head. The head becomes the idea, and then transmuted into the hands. To form, to create the final end product. Now, when the person is making it, he won't be bothered like ni orang faham tak faham, bukan masalah aku lah. It's just I am translating what I feel, how my appreciation to the divine, and to thank him for the knowledge that he gave me. So I produce this end product is a reflection, just like kalau in our Malay saying, we say, wajah itu cerminan hati, so same thing. The byproduct is actually a reflection of his inspiration and of his skill sets. So when you look at something that is, this is a masterpiece, that goes to show that the person who made it has a high level of mastery. That is why we can appreciate it. As compared to somebody who is new, just an apprentice perhaps, then maybe you can compare, this one, like, jauh gagang dari api lah, kata orang tu.
The quality will be different.
Correct.
Pak JoFe, we cannot hear you.
No, we lost you.
Hello.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Ada, I'm still here because I can hear you.
But we cannot hear you.
Hello.
Yes. Okay, continue, sir.
Apa soalannya?
I want to ask you, dah berapa banyak keris you ada in your collection, and normally where you buy this keris from?
Okay, ini kalau dah lebih 20 tahun punya collection this one,
maybe I show you a picture. We talk about this.
Because right now you're talking by count, I lost count already. Definitely it's above 500 over examples.
Wow, 500 over. And tu semua you simpan dalam rumah?
Oh no. Of course I have other storage spaces to keep. Semua dah rumah. Ini nanti aku tidur kat luar rumah nanti.
Okay. Kalau dalam rumah orang tahu, mana rumah Cik Khairi kita boleh pergi attack.
Attack lah, masuk tak boleh keluar, tak jumpa pintu nanti. Pintu keluar tak ada. Ahmad Albab, lepaskan aku. Salah Ahmad Albab pula. Alibaba.
And normally ritual memang you beli from overseas lah, I believe.
Yes, mostly it's being if you ask me lah, the quality pieces you want to find local is actually very difficult. It's either it's too expensive or it's just that people don't want to sell. So my market is, like I said, over 20 years, and last time, back in the day, I also travel a lot, so I have a lot of networks, I would say personal proxies, people who can represent me, that I trust them, but of course I do pay them a certain amount upfront for them to hunt all over, then when they get the best deal. So that is why I will always get the best pieces for the lowest price possible. Saya pun macam kepala penyamun juga, saya import, tak pernah export.
Okay. I'll show you some of the pictures. Can you tell us? I believe this is some of your collection, like this
proceed.
place.
This one is a Filipino Sundang. This is an interesting story actually. This guy actually, somebody actually, what's the word? Pawn to him. Dia pajakkan lah. Dipajakkan. So, but and this guy is not a collector, so he also don't know what to do. He just started post it around. Then and I knew him from my travels. Then he said, "Hey, this is actually what was that attracted me." Because to me, Filipino Sundang, it is gorgeous, but I don't really fancy it. I don't know, for some reason I just cannot appreciate. Maybe it's too big. Ni dah macam pedang He-Man. It's actually very heavy, very bulky. But for that particular piece, it's because of the hilt, the kakatua handle, the end. That was actually made, I think, of some kind of bone material. And when I look closely, actually it is actually silver encased. I thought it was steel. When I look at it closer, then it's actually silver encased. So this is actually not something that was produced haphazardly. Yes, might be something special. So I decided to ask this guy, hey, what's the story behind this? That's where he told me that he was spawned by this guy. The wife, I think, died in a typhoon or something. Then he got a bit heartbroken because that was used in the dowry. So he just, just want to move on lah. Don't want to keep anything to remember. And I said, oh, okay, itu macam ke? And then I'm like, oh, okay. Then I asked him, how long ago? I mean, that piece itself. He said he's not sure exactly. By his estimate, and this one I remember it was added to my collection somewhere 2012, 2013 around there. But at that time when he asked, he already said he estimated maybe 15 to 17 or maybe 20 years already. So you add on to that number of years today, definitely is more than coming to 30 years perhaps. Yeah. But overall, it is a very, I would say this is the only sundang that I have. I'm not really tak minat sangat lah sundang-sundang ni kan. Tapi ada satu kan, okey lah. Satu pun buat syarat je lah.
Keris sundang maksud tu apa?
Okay, sundang actually is more bukan untuk menikam It's more, it's not for stabbing. The function is a broadsword, yeah. And if you look at the Philippine documentation of historical records about the sundang, especially there's a lot of stories. I know when especially when it comes to the Americans were occupying the I think Mindanao area, where the Mindanao Rajas actually made a stand against the occupiers, and they came charging towards the Americans, and the Americans, I believe the first wave of attack they were using about 22 caliber rounds, but semangat jiwang perang Melayu even after being shot multiple times, they can still come charging and slash the soldiers. And there has been stories that the sundang actually can cut a man in half. But when you touch it in your hand, hold it in your hand, the weight and the size, it is not impossible that this thing can cut you in half, literally. Yeah. And then the interesting story is that after the American troops realized that, they went back, retreated, and then came back with 45 caliber rounds. Yes, 45 caliber rounds is close to 50 caliber. One shot it's like, it's like even you shoot an elephant, the elephant will collapse. So imagine to a man, you get shot by a 45 caliber round in the right spot, you might be blown in half already.
Wow.
Ooh, that's the story. Okay, the next one, bro. Okay, this is Keris Panjang.
Keris Panjang. Okay, this one or maybe can be Keris Hukum, Keris Mandat. There's a lot of variations, but it has to look at the functions. Yeah, Keris Panjang for execution, Keris Hukum. Usually will not be so nicely decorated with silver and whatnot. Yeah, that's one of the key identifying traits. Usually the blade is much more thicker and sturdier, because why? It has to withstand the pressure when it's penetrated into your body. And for these two examples, actually one is a newly commissioned. One of them was back in 2010, I think 2010 around there. The other one is an antique piece. That one was I got it from a dealer all the way back from Israel. Yeah. Okay, good point to note, right? Israel, they have a lot of Keris collectors down there. A lot of our heritage is actually there. Yep. Yeah.
Oops.
Okay, we lost your audio again, Pak JoFe.
Because I'm not speaking. Not lost, because I'm not speaking. I mean, ampas dulu.
There's a delay in the video.
There's a delay in the video.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's okay. Just continue, bro.
Okay, where was I? Keris Panjang. So this one is the one based on the picture that you shared, right? This likely both we say Keris form of Keris Mandat presentation, to authority, because you can see from both, even for the antique pieces, this is not likely used in execution, because the blade is very too clean, usually for a blade, for use for execution, there will be a form of a fuller in the center, because that center ridge will strengthen the blade actually. It's not a rapier. Some I don't know. Some white man collector will say this is used as a rapier, like as a fencing. I was like, ini bukan rapier. You can't even fence with that. It will break.
How long is when they say Keris Panjang? How long is the Keris itself, the bila itself?
Okay, it depends. The blade itself can be up to from 58 centimeter. That is considered short, and can be as long as up to 80 centimeter to 90 centimeter. Just the blade itself. Yeah. But you add on with the fittings and with the hilt and the sheath and all, it can become up to almost a meter. But that likelihood that is really meant for the execution. For macam ibarat keris kuasa, keris mandat is slightly shorter, and is the fittings is decorated with precious metals like silver or gold. And also the hilt usually is made of kalau tak tanduk, it could be cula badak, rhinoceros horn.
Okay, bro, can I ask you something? Can you get out first and come back again, because the video, your audio okay, but your video delay. Yeah, you just go out.
Video delay.
Come back again.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
Only you're on. Yeah. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, thank you very much for still joining us. And guys, come on, all the questions, come like and share and give us all your questions. Okay guys, while we're waiting for Pak JoFe, like, tag and share this video. Yes, and tag as many friends as you can. Let's share this knowledge ya. Jarang-jarang kita dapat people like him to share the knowledge.
Yeah, betul. He's a young guy and he's into this kind of hobby, and not only that, I believe that he has that sense of semangat nampak semangat bila dengar Khairi bercakap pasal keris, dia punya semangat naik.
Ya, betul.
Dan 500 keris jangan main-main.
500 keris tau, don't payah-payah
Tak ada, kalau disimpan keris tu kat rumah, aku takut nak masuk. Seriously. Mana tahu tersalah cakap, tersalah buat apa, mistake ke habis. Tak adalah. Kita tunjuk.
Okay,
500 no joke.
Bro, Pak JoFe.
Okay, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Audio good and no video. Okay.
I think now it's good.
Okay,
hello.
Now I think it's synced correctly. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Umpat pasal saya saya dengar tau.
Bukan. Ini depan-depan lain kan?
Ini saya cakap depan. Betul saya cakap takut saya nak masuk rumah Cik Khairi tau. 500 awak jangan main-main. Nak cakap
takut apa? Takut ada jin
Tak adalah. You cakap pasal jin. Kenapa people associate keris dengan jin? Betul ke? Ada ke? Dia bilang ada penjaga dia lah.
Kalau for me, I always believe in this. Bila you percaya, jadi. Remember, the keris ini senjata, ataupun jangan cakap senjata lah. Okay, dalam alam Melayu ini senjata. Kalau macam you tengok dekat Sunda, dia orang senjata lain. Dia orang mungkin pakai kujang. Kalau Bugis mungkin badik. That kind of thing. That has more higher so-called spiritual association. It is human nature to always look out for something that you associate to, maybe like example your leluhur, your keturunan, and then especially if you say example you inherited this object from this was belong your in our family, subconsciously they have this belief that okay, ni arwah datuk gue, okay, maybe dengan semangat dia tu mungkin ada lah, that kind of thing. There is actually a science to this. Kalau you tengok certain practices, like example, even back in the day, kalau ada kematian ke apa kan, kita tak digalakkan pakai barang-barang arwahnya sebelum 40 hari, that kind of thing. Actually, there is a science behind it. I take it as simple. We are all energy. We are all emitting a form of electromagnetic wave. So if like say you like an object so much, say example a ring, for example, and then upon your death, there will be some part of your kalau you're talking about metaphysics, they call it your aura will be latched onto this object, but this, like I say, is energy, you see, it takes time to dissipate. But if something else, or say example someone, your loved ones, put it on lah, energy can be amplified, can be magnified, or can be diminished depending on the other energy form that is that takes over. Now, if the energy form has a very strong connection to you, it acts as an amplifier. You know, it becomes you become the host for a new energy to, like a parasite, to latch on to you. So somehow, you know, energy is like wavelength. You know, if like you are on the same wavelength, you can click. You know, there will be a connection there. And you would assume that, oh, aku dapat terbayang mimpi lah, dapat ini datang lah. But actually it's not. It's not just it's just resonance energy. That's all. Okay. For me it's simple. The dead has nothing to do with the living. Once dah mati, dah mati.
Yes. Takkan kembali lagi.
You know? Takkan kembali. Kalau nak cakap gini, I mean, terpulang lah some people. That's why I give doubts when they say, oh ini kia gini. Pasal jangan lupa, you know, iblis tu sentiasa nak menyesatkan manusia. Dia boleh datang bagi orang alim. Nanti kan dia pula pusing cakap kita, oh kau ni semayang mengucap pun palsu. Pernah dengar? Ni mengucap palsu. Nabi dah lama tak ada, macam mana kau boleh naik saksi ni? Nanti kau terfikir, dan betul juga ini dia macam dia main.
Confuse you
Sebab tu kita balik pada tauhid, you know. Kalau kita tahu tauhid, kita kuat, ada apa? Ini bab kerana ada orang marah bila when I selamba cakap ada apa pada Keris. Oh marah. Cakap, yang kau nak marah kenapa? Kau kenal diri kau ke? Kenal Tuhan tak? You know? Because this is not something to be afraid of. You know, macam dia orang cakap Keris, oh tak boleh letak bawah, tak boleh letak gitu gini, you know.
Sometimes they make it Keris so spiritually associated.
Correct. Say example, Keris jangan tak boleh letak bawah. Now you look at it from a safety aspect. You letak bawah, orang tak nampak terpijak. Bila terpijak, sarungnya mesti pecah. Bila pecah, the blade will be exposed. You see? So actually kalau you menghayati pantang larang orang dahulu mengenai perkerisan, you cannot, that's why I say you cannot take it literally. You must look at it from a scientific and open-minded aspect, and you realize there is actually the logic behind that. Orang dulu memomokkan ada dua sebab. Macam kalau dulu dia orang cakap, ni orang tua punya hal, jangan campur.
Jangan campur.
Number one is actually courtesy, you see. Orang tua nak berbual, budak-budak mengganggu, you know. You'll be distracting the old people. Okay. Then example kalau about Keris, I believe, you know, this culture, nak kena asapkan, kemenyangan. Initially it could have started for a whole different reason. Tapi because, you know, it become like a culture, you know, malam Jumaat je asap Keris, malam Jumaat je asap Keris. But then people just see without understanding the explanation.
Correct.
Jadi dulu aku tengok arwah datuk aku dia asap Keris aku ikut lah. So they are following it blindly, you know. Without understanding. And same thing juga. Sometimes, you know, maaf cakap lah, I mean, I'm just going to put it across out there. Sometimes ada orang buka Keris, macam cium bilah, letak kat telinga. Bila tanya, apa pasal kau buat? Tak tahu, tak boleh jawab. So why do you practice something that you don't understand? For me, it's different. I know what I'm doing. I know there's a reason why I'm doing that. But if you cannot tell me that, and then you want to claim, macam tahu pengalaman bak gini, I just diamkan je lah. But then this basic, simple basic you can explain. Kalau maaf cakap lah, in the words of budak-budak sekarang dah tak payah berbual lagi lah, you know.
Betul. Okay. We still got one more case kita belum talk about. I think let's see, how about this? Keris tempur.
Keris tempur, ini biasanya kerisnya yang tidak diselit kat pinggang sebab dia punya panjangnya mungkin satu depa lah. Satu depa tu dalam dalam satu lengan gitu. Biasanya dipegang di tangan. Dia senang cakap, it's like a mid-range weapon. Meaning it's not too long as a sword, and it's not too short either. It's mid-range, yeah. So
nama dia keris tempur.
Tempur pasal tempur perang. Kita bertempur di medan peperangan.
Sebab tu. Jadi I think I understand bila you cakap kenapa dia dipegang. Maknanya is ready anytime.
Correct. Yes. And kalau you perasan tak, kenapa kalau kita perhatikan pakaian perang orang Melayu kita, yang basic lah kalau yang ibarat macam pengawal lah yang the lance forces, meaning yang memakai tombak, yes, diorang akan ada perisai, correct? Diorang akan ada a shield. Tetapi laksamana yang berkeris, kenapa tak ada perisai? Pernah terfikir tak? We don't have a shield when you go to war. Sebabnya sarung keris tu sendirinya adalah perisai. It is a shield. You have two weapons in your hand. Sebab kalau you tengok cara pembuatannya, dia ibarat kapak bahagian-bahagian sampirnya tu ibarat kapak. Then bahagian tu, if you try to smack somebody's head at the side of the head or the top of the head or the back of the head, you will crack your skull.
That's strong.
Ada kegunaan dia.
Correct. Yes. Sebab tu dalam falsafah pembuatan, kalau you perhatikan sampir tu ada bahagiannya material ni keras. Batang serunainya tu, the tube like part biasanya daripada kayu yang lebih lembut. Orang kau fikir secara logik, kayu keras, kayu lembut mesti pecah punya apa. But actually it's the reverse. Kalau you pakai semua kayu keras, upon impact it will shatter, it will crack. Dia ibarat macam apa tau, petua kapak. Pernah dengar?
Belum.
Pokok bila kena kapak besi dia ketawa. Tapi bila disarungkan saudaranya pada kepala kapak tu, pokok menangis. You take a solid iron axe and try to hammer a tree. You think you'll cause an impact as compared to just the axe head but with a wooden handle. Jadi ini actually is a reflection of nature. How nature works. Nature is all about balance.
Tu dia.
You look at the golden what's it called, the golden ratio, the mathematical formula about the bees and whatnot. Actually you realize at one glance it may appear imbalanced, but nature has this very unique way of balancing the imbalance. But how it achieve that? Yes, it may cause certain disruptions. You can have certain pandemic. You can have certain inconveniences. That is just ultimately how nature works. And same thing back in the day, people. I mean, we don't just be exclusively racist. Cakap Melayu je buat. No, actually bangsa lain, Cina pun, the feng shui, everything, it all is interconnected. They have understood the balance in nature. Back then, everybody, regardless of race, understood respecting nature. We don't desecrate nature. We respect. Like example, they believe in the elementals. Macam penunggu hutan, penunggu gua, penunggu gunung, that kind of thing. But that one is another separate topic on its own. But elementals, yes, it does exist. It's just like you respecting the tuan tanah. You don't just come to your home and then I'll bulldoze this entire set of trees and make a shopping center out of it. These days people have lost respect for nature. That's why we see a lot of weird things are happening. So same thing, the Keris, kayu, besi. These two are always, it's like macam, a pairing, a naturally paired.
Natural paired, betul-betul. Handle dia selalu diperbuat daripada kayu. Now that you mention.
Even if it looks metal, but actually it is kayu tapi encased in maybe another form of macam logam lah, like silver or some other material.
Okay. Next, let's go next. I have a $15,000 question.
$15,000 itu murah aja tu. Murah aja. You belum tengok Keris 200,000.
Yet to see. Belum dijemput untuk pergi sana tengok Selena. One day insyaAllah, mana tahu ada orang tu boleh jemput kita
tak. Itu tak tunjuk orang punya tu.
Okay.
Kenapa? Sebab dia begitu berharga
Okay, this one, even if you go to Bali, whereby the Keris makers, just like the Javanese and they take pride, in their Balinese pieces.
Personal collection.
So these Bali ampus, when they make it, now yes, they follow tradition, and number two, they will use lavish material. Sometimes the handle itself is solid gold, and then adorned with gemstone. The gemstone itself, one piece can already maybe cost you $10,000. So you add it all up, 200,000. Ni boleh beli satu HDB ni. Satu HDB boleh beli ni, dah lagi satu rumah aku boleh beli.
Betul.
That's right. I mean, the question is, sorry, your question about the 15,000 question. Belum dia belum jawab.
Okay, guys. This guys out there, viewers. This is Pak JoFe, one of the collection, and this cost him $15,000. Okay, boss, tell us more about this.
Yeah.
Oh,
what's so
itu
unique?
pasal itu emas dan batu
Yang
permata
mana
itu ada
tu
5
emas?
ya.
Di mana tu
Tatahan
emas?
tatahannya lah, tak yang kuning tu lah emas lah, takkan kayunya emas kan.
Mana tahu?
Kayu pun in a way emas jugalah, kemuning emas. Okey lah.
Yes, tell me how
Yeah,
do
so during that
is it
time I
customized?
think he was, yes, he's custom commission. I think somewhere back in 2007, 2008, 2009 around there I requested, I think 2008 lah. I just wanted a custom piece, tergerak hati lah. So okay lah. Tapi biasa tunggu 1 year later bilah baru siap. Tunggu. Setahun later, kayu belum jumpa yang sesuai lah. Okay. Lepas tu bila dah jumpa, tunggu. Sebenarnya tak tahan pula nak dapat ilham ni. Aduh. Bila pula dia tanya, ni nak perak ke, nak celup emas ke, nak emas? That time I punya terfikir, kalau emas aku boleh beli 1 jam Rolex. Tapi Rolex pun nothing special, not nothing tu kan. Okay lah, I invested that money in this. Sekali pula harga emas naik melonjak. Itu yang buat bertambah-tambah on top of the workmanship cost, the material cost. But for me personally, there's another story to that. Actually, the day it was about to be shipped to me, suddenly my representative call me and say, can we delay? Delay? Apa pasal nak delay? Tukang dapat last minute dapat mimpi lah. Dia nak ubah suai sikit bilahnya. So I say okay, tak apalah, tak kisahlah, tak no rush lah pun. So I just leave it, because for me my side is simple. When I custom commission something, I will just leave it to the guy making it, to the artist. How you want to do it. I don't dictate, because when you dictate sometimes, the artist might have, when look at you, dia akan tengok actually some to match your personality or your outlook. It must be like that, but because you want it like that, so they are working against what they are inspired. So that's why. So to listeners, you listen to this carefully. If you want a custom commission piece, leave it to the artist. Do not dictate what you want, because when you dictate, it will look unnatural. And limited. Because I've seen so many examples where people dictate what they want. When I look and the person holding it, you can see there's an opposing force there. It's not natural. But you trust the person who make it, leave it to their expertise. When it come out, you can feel connected to it. You can feel like this is mine. And for me, it is mine because my piece there, the whatever additional improvements he made to the blade is the first of its kind. In any books and whatever Keris reference book, there has never been such examples. So that to me was very special.
So how long you take in total?
In total for that piece, about 3 years lah, 3 years plus minus around there.
So you start wanting to have it in 2008, 8, 9, 10, 11.
2011 baru siap. And I think like I said also, it's like sometimes
mengandung dapat anak
orang mengandung 9 bulan je. Ini 3 tahun. 3 tahun. But then I always believe that sometimes things happen for a reason. It's so coincident happened when the item arrived. Just nice. About 2 months later, I was getting married. So I use that as my personal Keris slate. Yes.
Ingatkan bang tadi nak cakap 15,000 tu boleh buat duit antaran.
Antaran lain. Antara tu lain.
How much total you pay for that, bro? In total, the shipment lah, this Keris, personalized Keris. How much in total?
Kalau shipment tak ada masalah lah. And anyway, okay, you're talking about this one. Luckily, because it's below 40 centimeters, so there is no import license required. But that time, any Keris that comes into Singapore has to be inspected, and you have to go down personally to Cantonment Complex there for them to inspect the item in front of you. So that was a bit leceh lah, turun naik lah. Sampai ini muka ni dia tengok, abang lagi, engkau lagi. Sampai dia popular dah. Asyik muka engkau je.
Yalah, kata Keris collector.
Tu point dia pun dah naik malas, dia buka tengok, okay, dah ambil jalan, sign.
Tak banyak rewel lah.
Yeah, tak
So that means there
banyak
must
rebel.
be a special license for you to bring Keris.
To import
into
is a
Singapore.
requirement lah. This law actually has been around for a long time, yeah. But whether enforced or not, that one is because up to the authority. If they look at it, ini macam decorative item tak payah import, okay lah. But if they say this one you have to do the import permit, buat lah. Import permit, I think that time was only $20. I think today is about $25 lah per piece, per piece. That not so much of a headache. The major one, most important, to collectors, or whoever who's buying a Keris from overseas, please do not under declare the value of the item. You are making a big offense. I repeat again, you will be making an offense if you under declare the value of the item. In Singapore, regardless Keris ke, other form of antiquities ke, bag ke, apa ke, if the value of the item is $400 and above, you must pay GST. So that's very important, because if you under declare and somebody rat you out, you jolly well answer for it.
Yes,
Ini terus pergi court punya, tak ada you know.
Okay. So no matter what size the Keris is, no issue. You license ke, what type of license? Is there any particular
license also just follow based on the what the officers advice is. If they require you to have a license, just apply. Nothing wrong. You want to know how to apply? I'll check out my YouTube.
On this
shameless
end
plug.
or our Singapore end, I mean, or
Singapore end. Yeah, everything is once it's coming to Singapore, it's Singapore end. Yeah.
Also,
but of course, whoever
buy,
exporting it out, that one is their end. They have to settle it out.
Okay. Sorry, I think delay lagi. I think okay, never mind. Can you hear us, bro?
Yes, very loud and clear.
Yeah, he can hear us, no problem.
Yeah, except for the video delay on your end.
Maybe Hari, on your part, what is your personal advice pada mereka yang mungkin nak berjinak-jinak to be a Keris collector, atau mungkin berjinak-jinak nak mengenali, Keris. So what is your advice to them?
My advice is don't take advice from dealers.
Dealers, okay.
Dealers, their
why?
objective is to sell. So their advice can be biased. Okay?
Biased based on what?
Because they want to make a sale.
They want to sell,
They want to make a sale. That's the end thing. They may sound convincing to you, but at the end point, you must smell the game. It's like, ni kau nak jual barang dengan aku. So you should start to have a bit of, take it with a pinch of salt. Ilmu ni ataupun whatever is shared tu, ikhlas ke tak? Is that, as compared to, like, for example, like myself, because that's why people have asked me to start selling. Why I choose not to become a dealer. I can become a dealer overnight. It's very it's simple to get. I got a place, I got the license, I can apply the licenses and whatnot. But because once I become a dealer, then it can become a double-edged sword. Number one, people will think, oh, you're doing all this is just for economic interest. And number two, it might cloud my judgment. When I'm trying to share something, where at the same time, at the back of my mind, I want to make a sale. Because for me, it's like I say, to me, don't talk about money first. I rather bring you the value. If you see the value, you really can afford it, then you go for it. I think in my upcoming videos, I make this statement. For all intents and purposes, what I'm doing publicly is actually trying to tell you not to spend money on Keris unnecessarily. I'm trying to tell you, don't waste your money if you don't know what you're buying. Most people, they not buy, but when they ask me, like, I get a bit sad because I'm very blunt. I'll just tell you the truth. You got rubbish, you got rubbish. But then nanti tak sampai hati, kawan tu dah semangat kan segini. Rupanya dia pun sudah kena tipu. Habis macam mana? And then the cycle will repeat itself, because why? He want to recur back his losses. He will try to sell that thing to someone else, and then the story goes on. And then bila nak habis?
Correct.
So for me, that's right.
You also conduct lectures, kan? You give talks, right?
When people invite, back in the day, I will do it on a social basis. Meaning, like, example, okay, anybody minat, okay, and this time we'll have this session lah. But then after a while, it become a bit tiring for me lah. Because I'm like, semuanya aku buat ni seorang aja ni, semua datang makan free aja ni. Kiai tu ada. Kata kalau ada terima kasih pun okey juga. Kadang-kadang tak ada. Dia macam dah dapat ilmu, jalan. Okay. Lalu tu besok mengaku diri tu expert. Expert. Boy. That's why I don't want to say much. My side is simple. I know who these people are. But that's why these people, if I make a side comment, nanti and nobody want to counter. They dare not. They know where they stand. But for me, it's like, alah, terpulang lah. You nak mengaku pandai kau yang pasal. Tapi bila kau dah terkena, don't come running to me for help.
But I believe that you have your own channel, right? Your YouTube channel where
how can listeners
dedicate to educate.
Yeah.
get in touch with you?
This is actually I think I just started way back in this year, 21st April. Itu pun actually about 3 years ago, people already been asking me already to start doing YouTube. But because for me, like, you know, I don't like to, like, you know, like jump on the bandwagon blindly. You know, I do my research first. You know, I make sure quality and most important is I know what I'm doing. Yeah. So in terms of content wise, this subject actually it is endless. You cannot run dry of topics because there's so many aspects you can say. And then on top of that, sometimes when you get curious, like for me, I analyze, this set of questions always, you know, like top commonly asked question. Okay, I'll make a video of this to address this. So for next time, somebody next person ask me, I give the link. Just send the link. No, I don't have to repeat myself. And also, for me also, yes, I do have the audience in mind, but for me, the end reasoning why I'm doing all this is for my children actually, because you know life is unstable. You know, we don't know how much time we have left. If suddenly tomorrow I die, and then somebody comes along, dulu bapak ni simpan gini ni tak bagus tau, simpan untuk keluarga kau ni, ini bakal datang balak bla bla bla. I tell my children, my wife, ini semua kau jangan layan, pembohong ni amat. Because why? Simple. If I never say it, it's not true.
Yes.
That's why this video is like, I mean, whatever videos that I'm producing is actually a form of leaving behind a legacy. And I am calling out to all collectors in Singapore, please come out from the shadows. Do not operate behind private groups. Do not feel exclusive. There's nothing special about this hobby.
Share your experience.
Share your experience, share your knowledge. Go and out in open, you know. And kata orang tu terima dengan hati terbuka. Jangan nanti ada orang ni buat, you know, ni dijemput sana sini, ni keluar berita, lepas tu nak sakit hati. But then who asked you to hide behind the shadows? Ni I'm bluntly put it out there. You know, don't be a sore loser. You know.
Okay.
Kata muka nak kena tebal sikit lah.
But not many ada muka tebal.
Atau mungkin
pasal takut fear of judgment.
Maybe they're not confident enough like you. Maybe you, yelah, bukan cakap apalah. The way I look at it, that mungkin anda berpengalaman, you know, you have experience, you know what you're talking about. Maybe they feel that, maybe they feel that, you know, ilmu kita masih lagi kurang. So that's why diorang tak nak ke depan. Mungkin?
I think the problem is I see is mostly is fear of being judged. You know, like ini. So end up when they fear this, they are not confident of themselves. You know, but my advice is throw it out there, right or wrong, nothing wrong. As long as it's not being presented in a disrespectful manner, you know, as long as it's based to your own knowledge. Then if there is some error, people are not that selfish to just keep quiet. They will just, you know, I think this part is a bit incorrect, blah blah blah. You know, they'll voice out. Today's is the attention economy. You know. Attention economy already, you know. Yes, some people will try to do funny things just to gain the attention, but you know what is the value, you know. Today, you know, like the context you do, you're a content creator yourself, you know, is either you're in the educational or you're into entertainment. But educational and entertainment can be meet in between, but it depends on your personality itself lah. But like I said, the important just start, you know, hit that record button, post it, you know. Jangan takut apa orang cakap. Apa nak malu?
It's not to make mistake along the way, no issue, right?
But I believe that whoever who's listening now out there, if you are keen, you want to know more, I believe that our brother Khairi is always there, you know, always ready to share. Correct?
And yeah.
Okay, kat kedai dia akan cakap while stocks last, ini betul while I'm still alive.
Wow, that is a strong word. While he's still alive, you better catch him. Yeah.
Tak boleh cakap, tiba-tiba besok I padam macam mana? Dah ini interview terakhir ni.
This interview will be our exclusive. Okay, bro. What is coming up on the horizon? What are you headed next? Your plan, your project?
Okay, my ultimate project, I'm looking forward to establishing a private Keris museum in Singapore. Yeah. Now we have the what toy museum lah, stamp museum lah, all this private one. Let's have a Keris museum. I'm inviting collectors in Singapore to come on board, to rotate your collection, showcase it rather than just holding it at home. Let other people enjoy, and then that can become a center for people to we can host a talks, seminars, events even, and hopefully I can also split into a form like an art gallery kind of thing, whereby I wouldn't say I'm a dealer, where I bring the works from artists or Keris makers, we showcase them per se. The sad thing about Keris is that people don't know who made the Keris. It's time we treat it like a work of art.
They are professional.
Correct. So because the problem also in this market is being handled by middlemen. Middlemen are taking another cut from these people. They check out the price just for them to have a share. So what I'm advocating is support the makers directly. Ini sembang lah, kamu banyak kecam lah, but for me, I'm saying the facts here. You want this art to survive into the next generation, you have to support them. If the moment you stop supporting, habis.
Connect to them. So people like me, like a lot of people who do not know about this, who to connect, where to connect, how to connect, and how we know that this is the correct person.
Okay, very simple. Nowadays, we have to thank social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Most of modern makers are online. Okay. So there is no excuse for you to say, susah lah. The only excuse you're giving yourself is that you dare not to approach them. You dare not to drop a DM, bang, assalamualaikum, salam kenal, gini. Just talk to them. Don't realize a lot of people, come to me, hey, can you become like the media? I say, I've tried it a few times and sometimes, it can become very frustrating, because I end up, I'm like passing messenger like that. So you go direct lah, but you have to find yourself, because why? Those in my era, my time, most of them have passed on. They are no longer around. Some have retired. Some, their quality of their work has declined. So I don't want to like nanti refer, nanti korang kerja jadi tak senonoh, nanti end up ni Pak JoFe punya recommendation apa. So that is that disclaimer.
Okay. So do you have any recommendation? Your personal recommendation? Can you do that?
I would say none. I would not want to recommend you, because this is a journey. Collecting is a journey. You have to make your own experience. You have to experience it.
So how do we know? Okay, this is the genuine maker, and this is not. And
number one, definitely, if you look at their posting and their comments, that is already a telltale sign. Ini tukang ada nama lah ni, it's not like somebody that just pop out of the blue, because and look at their posting. Kalau setakat baru 1-2, I say ini assalamualaikum, salam sudahlah. Tapi you tengok yang dah ada like maybe established for a few years. If sometimes it works the other way around. Sometimes on Instagram they don't have much posting, but on Facebook they are there. Sometimes it's the reverse. Facebook they don't tak active, but Instagram they are there. So it's your discretion, and exercise a bit of due diligence, common sense.
I believe that we have to do our own research lah. And
definitely. Due diligence is important, because like because when people ask me, how do you think when I first started? You think what I know all the context today? Is it? I also had to research, had to ground zero, and then the best part is once you macam dah mula, at least ada some form of comfort, you dah selesa, visit them, go to their place, naik pergi ke Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, wherever, Thailand, go meet them. Bila dah kenal baru that is why like for me, sometimes things gets done easier because they know who I am. But then sometimes also boleh jadi a bit embarrassing lah. You bayangkan you baru keluar kereta dia, Pak JoFe dah sampai, suddenly like macam alamak, dia apa sah ramai ni orang ni kerumun ni.
Macam VIP
dah terlebih pula, jadi takut.
Alhamdulillah.
Earlier behind the scene you had mentioned that best makers from Kelantan, and the other one is from where? So
Kelantan, Pasir Mas, Terengganu, and then if you're talking about Tajong, definitely is Patani,
Tajong, where
Sampan. Tajong is the one, the picture that you're using as the backdrop there. That is the Keris Tajong. I mean, this is an antique example, but modern examples are still being made. Because Tajong also, like I said, one thing, the problem is when there is a high demand, but the production is slow, people look for alternative resources. Yeah. And nowadays you have to even be more careful because jenis keris Melayu is being duplicated and made outside of the Peninsular Malay states. It's being made in Madura, and sometimes even Lombok also, I heard is also already starting to duplicate. Yeah, it may look like the real thing, but like I said, tak kenal maka tak cinta. Bila dah kenal, sekali tengok ini bukan. And it's for me, it saddens me also because, example, people come to me, bang, saya dia beli ini hulu keris Tajung ni. Wah, harga berapa? Harga gini-gini, which is the equivalent of the authentic thing. But when I look at it closely, touch the material, ini bukan made in that place. It's made in Madura. So and the look on their face, it changed. Even disappointment too. It's like, that's why for me, I got nothing against that people want to, you can afford the real thing, but you want to buy the alternative. Fine, And ibarat macam apa tau, you tak mampu beli Rolex, you buy a homage. Nothing wrong with that. But you sell it at how much price lah. You don't sell it at the original thing. And you don't claim that this is ni keris Melayu. Keris Melayu. You kena habiskan the ayat tu. Keris Melayu tiru dari Madura. Atau keris Bugis tiru dari Madura. Buatan Madura. Mesti sebut. Banyak orang tak akan sebut.
Dekat tiru harga dah turun.
Itu pasal. Apa mau malu?
Tapi bro, kita ni normal people. So how do you know, normal people like us, we want to buy this at $15,000, $10,000 ringgit, $10,000. How do you know that this is the harga equivalent to the harga that we're going to buy?
Okay, first thing,
people like us, normal people.
Okay, talking about when it comes to pricing, if like say the offer price, dalam adab berkeris ni, kalau orang nak jual beli, based on tuannya, dia macam ibarat macam you nak meminang anak dara orang lah. You minat kan, you nak masuk meminang kan, je letak hantaran 15,000 misalan, mampu tak mampu, there's two reason why they say they do this, Number one, the person maybe respect you, but he actually don't want to sell, so he put a high price. Tapi when you mampu, alamak, then he have to honor it lah. That is the kind of being gentleman, the Malay gentleman way. Number two, maybe memang nilai benda tu is as such. Because why? Example, tatahan je emas, ada batu permata, bilah tua, pakaian asli. Ini pun another aspect Nowadays people bilah tua, pakaian semua baru. So macam mana nak cakap ini konsep antik? I don't consider, I consider hybrid already. Hybrid, Kalau ada lagi best, misalan, this I'm also sharing ni ilmu ni, jarang-jarang aku buka macam ni. Buka. Frankenstein keris. Tahu macam mana Frankenstein keris? Bilah dari Madura, sarung buatan Melayu, pendokok Jawa, hulunya pun buat daripada Jawa. Jadi kita ini dah macam Frankenstein lah. Dia sudah bits and pieces here and there, dia campur. Dah jadi rojak. Nak bagi rojak macam tak cool lah kan. Ke Franken keris lah. Ni Frankenstein keris.
Okay. So it's good. Those yang baru nak berkecimpung atau nak collect.
Yang baru nak berkecimpung, my advice, jangan gairah sangat nak membeli. Belajar dulu. Simpan duit tu dulu.
Belajar ilmu dulu ya.
Belajar dulu.
I tak boleh meniaga keris. I meniaga orang saya tak galakkan orang beli. Tak ada beli pun. Nanti jangan beli dulu, belajar dulu. Dah belajar pun boleh beli. Dah kata boleh beli.
It's the correct way. So you tak kena tipu, betul tak?
Correct. Because simple misalan you invest, lah, katakanlah paling mahal lah 5,000 lah, you invest in one genuine antique piece. Walaupun you ada satu, but end to end ini genuine, benda asli. You akan puas hati, even until the day that you grow old with it, this is worth it.
Yes.
Whereas you macam beli bilah murah-murah, 300, 400, 300, 400, banyak, tapi at the end of the day, orang tengok garbage. Doesn't worth anything. Everyone worth scrap metal aje lah. Precisely.
Mass production, Tapi nak letak dekat atas tu pun macam segan.
Biasanya orang yang tak tahu dia akan bangga letak. Tapi kalau yang kita tahu ni, malunya aku.
Betul.
Tapi kata orang tu adab lah kalau kita sebagai tamu tengok, kita diamkan je lah. Tapi kalau tuan dia bertanya, Like for me, I kasih disclaimer dulu. Ini you nak I jawab kasih you
yang
syok sendiri
betul
atau yang benar. Kalau yang benar ini pedas. Kalau yang syok sendiri bagus. Tu pulang. You know, I give them a choice. Cantik.
Mahal.
Because see, some people take it the wrong way. They think that we are insulting them. But for me, it's simple. No, because I care. I tell you the truth. I don't, kata orang tu blow smoke up your buttocks, I don't make you feel good on your own, I tell you this is the truth. Because why? The sad thing is, when you don't know, nobody correct you, you are going to pass this information to your children, and the children will pass it to them, and the cycle will repeat and end up. This is the most scary part and most serious to me. The descendant will leave a legacy of lie.
Lies,
a legacy of lies.
Oh my gosh.
That is very scary.
Ini Johari je mengenal Manikam.
Betul. Hanya Johari yang mengenal Manikam. Betul.
Okay, Pak JoFe. Last word from you. Anything out there to listeners yang nak get in touch with you and learn more? How can they get in touch with you? How they can get started with? Do you accept them as a pupil, anak murid? Be a mentor to them. Do you that?
To a certain extent, I can guide them. I mean, they can contact me through my social media pages. There's so many, just rajin sikit lah. Rajin membaca. Jangan semua nak minta ditatang depan mata. DM me.
Keris collection je. That's it.
This but for students, it depends lah. Because for me, kalau you nak ikut adab berguru, not that I don't want to, or not even that I want to actually, but I would look at case by case. Because kalau adab berguru lain, adabnya, and for me as a guru, it's different as like, when I'm chatting normal, there are certain protocols, certain discipline that you must be. Because for me, if I don't see any commitment,
betul.
Sekarang ni bukan macam zaman dulu anak murid terkesing-kesing kat guru kan. Sekarang pula terbalik, guru yang terkesing-kesing nak cari anak murid. But for me, masa is simple. Kalau you come to me, because I don't owe you anything, you don't owe me anything. If you're not committed, I pun assalamualaikum kat kaki jalan lah. Be a gentleman. Tapi but then you own self reflect lah, because not to say that I do have some students. Some of them are actually my admins on my pages. Some of them, they are like my proxy. When they reply, and if they put a different name, that is not me, that's one of my close, but they are as good as representing me because they know their stuff. So because kalau semua nak layan tak terlayan bang, 5 years ago when I started this page, when I started gaining traction, I got DMs after after that cukup masa ini macam tak boleh jadi ni, penat ni melayan ni.
They are your pelapis lah
hopefully lah, insyaAllah. Because I mean, these are young people, educated people, they have their own way of doing things. That's why sometimes walaupun kita ni dah lebih berumur, berpengalaman, it's always good to have younger people to give you insights, because sometimes their ideas is actually something that you never thought of. And sometimes it gives you a fresh look at things. Correct. To be honest, kalau tak pasal diorang ni, YouTube ni semua tak keluar ni, orang tua ni malah nak buat lah. Cakap ingat senang ke apa ni, nak buat lighting, buat apa, dah lah tu panas berpeluh-peluh. Lepas tu kita habis recording, nobody
know. Behind the scenes cuma yang ni.
Seorang lagi macam gila kan.
Nak buat script. And for me, because maybe my background is I love to write. So if other people write, I know this is not me. The way the sentence structure, it is not me lah. Never. I re-paraphrase it into my own.
So the emotion is there lah.
So much we have learned today. Thank you, Khairi Johari. Pak JoFe di atas perkongsian. Thank you for your sharing. I think it's really an insight. It makes me realize that Keris is not just just a Keris like
weapon. Just a weapon.
It goes beyond that.
It goes beyond that. And guys out there, viewers out there, whoever want to contact Pak JoFe, Bro JoFe, there's a YouTube channel, and it started.
Sokong lah, subscribe. Subscribe. And like and share.
Correct. Like and share. And I'm sure PM him for all the questions you have. I'm sure dengan rela hati, dengan ikhlas hati, he will jawab you all. Tapi
kalau
soalan
tak
yang
jawab
pandai-pandai
direct,
lah,
kalau tak dah, for me there is no such thing as any dumb question, because simple, orang kalau tak tahu dia tak tahu, you know. So apa ni, if I don't address it directly to you, maybe I'll use that as a video. I'll address as a video, then to everybody
so
can
in
get
other words,
that knowledge.
follow his video, follow his YouTube. All your answer will be there indirectly, directly.
Support local creators, guys.
Exactly, betul. That's true. Yeah, we have
Dan
a lot of
juga
talented creators.
kita juga harus terus menghidupkan dan memperkayakan budaya Melayu kita lah. And I think Keris is one of the ways. It is one of the ways to a lot of things, especially our youngsters they should know the story behind what the actual Keris it is lah, like what you have mentioned, like what you have shared with us.
Not just merely a weapon only,
Because my ultimate end goal is definitely one day I'll make a show, macam apa tu, a reality show. Who will be the next Keris collector? Stay tuned and find out.
Wow.
Terkeluar candidate 1, candidate 2, candidate 3.
Pemenangnya
dah macam The Apprentice pula.
Yes. You have to start something. No, it's good. I mean, seriously.
No, because sejujurnya saya dah mula penat. That's why sometimes I will tell reporters whoever, you contact this guy lah, this person lah, that person, this collector lah. But you see, the feedback that I receive is because number one, credibility. Because they say they don't have public record, meaning public, what have they done, what their achievement. So whatever they say, they find it hard to believe. That's why I say you operate behind private groups. It is very difficult for people to believe. You see, unless you dare enough put it out there. Because journalists, they also, I mean, I'm sure you all have a background in journalism. You all do your research first, and you know the basic fundamentals. You know, success leaves clues. You see.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, guys out there, thank you very much for those who like and share. And there's a question here. I don't know whether you want to jawab. Okay, do you see the question there? Can we keep for display? I mean, is that okay?
Can we keep for display?
Yeah,
maksudnya apa tu? Kita simpan Keris memang untuk display. Takkan kita bawa hari-hari pergi naik bas, naik MRT, kena tangkap boy.
Tak, mungkin maksud dia, is it correct ataupun is it ethical or is it okay to macam letak kat dinding.
Tak kisahlah janji, yang penting you have to prioritize safety. You letak kat dinding biasanya is at a height, because why? You don't want, you know, young people or people who don't know, you know, handle it and then, you know, they injure themselves. Yeah, that's actually the most logical reasoning. You nak letak dalam display case ke, nak letak dalam showcase ke, nak letak dalam peti besi ke? Tak pulang. Okay. So I hope I answered the question, yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure about this.
What is this?
Ini wallahu alam, Kanjeng Raden Tumenggung Sutra Jupro yang amat mulia Tengku Diraja Abdul Martin. Puy.
Ini soalan ke?
Ini dia soalan ke dia tag orang ni?
I don't know,
panjang
bro.
Gila.
Okay, whatever it is, thank you, and maybe we will think about how to answer that later. Kalau it's a question.
Ini tak tahu soalannya ke atau dia tag orang ni.
Mantra. Mantra. Okay, bro. So thank you very much for the time. I know you are super busy, man. There's so many things you want to do, and we really appreciate your presence here. And I'm sure me and myself and a lot of viewers there learn a lot of things today.
Yes.
Macam-macam kita belajar with this small time and given to us. Yep.
We wish you all the best in your journey, and we hope that your mission, your vision to expand this knowledge will be made dipermudahkan.
InsyaAllah. Nanti boleh saya ada kata-kata penutup atau pantun penutup. Saya buka dengan pantun, saya tutup dengan pantun ya. Ini pesanan saya untuk para pendengar. Ini dalam bahasa Melayu. So I will do a translation later lah for the English. Okay. Ini pesan nasihat pada saya, pada siapa yang baru bermula nak ambil tahu pasal Keris ya. Bermain Keris biar berpada. Dek Keris masuk ke neraka. Ukur sukat hanya petua. Sepenuh hati jangan percaya. Cuma besi baru ditempa. Allah jua maha kuasa. Sekian, terima kasih.
That's a good one, bro. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Assalamualaikum. Thank you, viewers.
Waalaikumsalam. Bye.